Hi everyone, Teresa Aker here from Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. It's my privilege today to bring you back Andrew Poletto. How you doing, Andrew?
Fantastic. Thanks for having me back. I know this is going to be a little bit different than we did in the first time, but it's going to be a lot of fun. At least my intention is to have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We had a great time last time. So Andrew is with Top Fitness Strategies. He's
hmm
coming with a whole new idea today. So
Right.
he talked to me about it and I said, sure, let's bring it on. Let's get your ideas, Andrew, because I'm all about everyone trying to do things, doing new businesses,
hmm
stretching their ideas and going for it. So let's go. Andrew, let's
Okay.
talk about you.
Okay. First of all, yeah, thank you, Top Fitness Strategies. That's my business that I basically do online. But we're talking about today is not going to be fitness related. It's going to be internet podcast related, whether it's a video podcast or an audio podcast. Because nowadays, most people are doing both. You just basically cut out the audio from the video feed and put it to where audio podcasts go.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. And more people are starting to have, I guess starting is not the right word, but more and more people are having guests on their podcasts, whether it be audio or visual. And from that, I have a little bit of experience. I'm not the best person in the world. I'm not the Joe Rogan who could have the best equipment, best guest, and all that good stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. I've had experience before podcasting was podcasting, being online and with crude equipment, interviewing folks of all walks of life. And little by little, I've started putting a checklist together for myself being a host, what I can do better, what situations have come up, what I can tell the guests that has happened in the past. So if it happens in the future or happens during our show or our talk, don't be alarmed type thing. And from that, I started noticing different little things from the guest perspective of how the guests can improve themselves. But I'm not the guy's going to say, hey, you need to do A, B, C, and D. No, because the guest is the guest, however they were more comfortable. So my philosophy is if I can put it out there for somebody to digest on their own without somebody telling them that they should do this or maybe it's recommended to do it this way, if they can digest it on their own, hopefully from this they're going to become a better podcast guest because to be a good guest, in my opinion, you just don't get on there and talk. There's a little differences that you can do here and there that will set you apart. And I mentor with somebody online, and he put together a whole program how to be a great guest, how to be a great host, and the program's going gangbusters. And what I found out from his mentorship, when he put together this program, which I didn't know he was doing, once he came out with it, I said, you know what? I did this myself. I have my own little checklist of how to be a better host and in turn, because now I'm starting to be guests on different podcasts, I want to bring that out as well to be a good podcast guest. I hope I'm not rambling too much here and making a lot of
No,
sense.
no, I actually understand where you're coming from. So I have a lot of guests on my shows too, Andrew,
Yes, yes.
and you're right. We're try when I bring them on, the guests are there to talk about their story.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps they have a business or an idea, and I
Mm-hmm.
want them to do really well. So it would be good to give them some techniques or ideas to promote themselves or to present themselves rather on
Mm-hmm.
the show to help them because it really is about them. I'm
Mm-hmm.
having them on to promote them and to have their business perhaps grow or their viewers, whatever it is they're coming on for. No, I think it's a great idea. And there is probably a little bit of discomfort if they're not used to it. So they
Absolutely.
may not know what to say or what to do. No, it's a
Mm-hmm.
great idea. So let's talk about that. What are some ideas that you've come up with, Andrew?
Okay. There's before the actual show, during the show, and after the show. And during the show, there's a right before the show starts section as well. And I have, if I look over to the side, because I have some notes written down, I want to make sure I hit them all. For instance, before the show, and if I step on anybody's toes, it's not meant to be. This is just stuff that I'm more comfortable with.
Yeah.
You might not be. The next person might not be. As we discussed before we went on air, there's different ways to go about it, but in the end, it all comes together. We all come up from different angles. Like you said, there's could be 8 different ways to view whatever you're looking at. So this is my view of it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm the best or I'm the right. I'm just saying this is my view. And I hope these little tips can do it. Beforehand, make sure there's alternate ways to contact the guest and the host. You and I contact via email, and also now with Facebook, it's really easy to be on Messenger.
It is.
Those are two very good ways to do it. If you want to throw your cell phone in there or phone number of contact, that's also a great way. You never know what's going to happen. I was in a position where I lost the entire electricity in my house in the middle of an interview.
Does
Everything went
happen.
off.
Yeah.
The guest obviously didn't know what was going on. They didn't have any way of contacting me outside of a cell phone. So that's why I always like to throw the cell phone in there, because I lost all power. It was the weirdest thing. So I always say that at the beginning of my thing. Time zones is another thing. You use Calendly, if I recall, or an
I do.
online scheduling service. And this is personal for me, I can't stand it. I've been screwed so many times with it. And I'm sure it's user error on my part. For whatever reason, when I open it up, it's 13 hours ahead of where it's supposed to be. It's the
Okay.
weirdest thing. I don't know. I'm sure it's something on my end. I get it. All right. So I like to put everything in a book still. That's just me on my end. I also like to make sure when I'm talking, and you and I did this as well, I always put the time zone I'm in when I talk to somebody. So, because as you do, I talk to people around the globe.
I
And if I tell somebody in Yugoslavia, because I had this before, I'm on Eastern Standard Time or Eastern Time, they have no clue what that is. They don't. So I take it a step further, because I, as a host, want to make them as relaxed and as comfortable as being the guest as possible. I don't want them to think about extra things. So I tell them I'm on the same time as New York City. Everybody on the planet knows where New York City is. If not, they can, what's the time in New York City? Really quick, and boom, they'll get it. All right. So they get it. I don't live in New York City, but
no.
I'm on the same time zone.
Yeah.
If I was in Central, I would say Chicago or Dallas. Or if I was in Pacific, I'd say at the same time as Los Angeles. Make it real simple for the other person to know the time zones. So far, make sense?
Absolutely. And just so you know, I'm with you on using a book as well. I also use a day timer, a journal, and I do my electronic calendar. Absolutely do all of that. You're right. And I do send it out through Facebook and through email,
Mm-hmm.
because I too have the same thing. We have different time zones. I, in fact, just talked to a lady from Australia, honestly, just as I before we were talking, and we just set up her time, and we were looking at, she's a whole day ahead of us.
Mm-hmm.
So we
Yep.
had to discuss that. And so with my calendar, I'm able to say Eastern time, and she was able to, we figured it out. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I even go to Google just to double check
Oh, yeah, of course.
what's the
Yeah.
right time. So I'm
Yeah.
with you on that, Andrew.
That's why I throw out a major city, so it's
Yeah,
easier to somebody to do it. Look at it
sure,
that way.
sure.
Also, a big one for me lately is something's called a one sheet. A one sheet is basically a one-page document. It could be PDF, could be whatever, where it lists your bio, being the guest, lists the guest bio, any relevant links they need to go to, and also possible topics or possible questions. There's all kinds of examples out there. I didn't know it was called a one sheet until about a year ago.
Yeah,
No, it's called a one sheet. So there you go. Just everything on one page. And if the host needs more information, they have it there at their fingertips, and they say, hey, I see it says this. Does it mean this or what have you? It's
yeah,
all right there together. And you, as a host, you don't have to find 5 different websites and links to go to. You have it all condensed right there for them. It makes it easier for the host. And
yeah,
that way, everybody stays on topic as well.
it's true.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, we got the scheduling part set up. We got that part set up. Let's go to right before you go live as a guest. Again, I don't want to sitting on anybody's toes here. Lighting is a key to one of the keys to video. Do not, please do not have a light behind you
No,
shining through.
no.
That is horrible for the host, because they're trying to look at you, but all they see is a silhouette, and the person looking at it to view it later on, it's just an uncomfortable thing for their eyes, and they're not going to want to stay on because it's uncomfortable for them to watch the video. You, if you can go in with the attitude, okay, is there something that I do that will make the viewer or listener uncomfortable? And if there is, change it. Lighting behind you is bad. Put the lighting in front of you if you can.
Yeah,
I'm in a place where I have windows all around where I am here, which is great because I have a lot of natural lighting, but it's bad because At certain times, the sun comes right here and it's in my face. And I don't know if you and I had this last time we talked, if I had the sun coming at me or not. And so, because I have curtains everywhere around here, as the year progresses and the sun moves, I have sometimes the sun over here, sometimes in front of me, sometimes over there. So I'm constantly moving it around. Just today, I'm lucky because the sun is all cloudy. So I have some lights. So with the lights, if you use lights, and I'm going to do a little visual here as well. If you wear glasses, you have the lights. What do you see right now?
Glare.
You see the glare, right? So either put the lights up higher or tilt your glasses a little bit so there is no glare. Because all of a sudden, if there's a glare, and it's hard for me to do this because I try to make it so I can never have a glare. But all of a sudden, you as a viewer, what are you focused on? You're focused on the glare in this person's glasses. So if you're a guest and you wear glasses, try to eliminate that glare. Also, things behind you, like this picture. If I don't tilt it a certain way, whoops. Don't try this at home, folks, as I'm a professional. If you don't have it tilted a certain way, you're going to get glare on that. And the focus is now psychologically not on you as the guest, but on the glare. All right, keep that in mind. Where to look as a guest. You see me looking at my camera right there. Now, you, if I could do this, are on my screen over here. So now I'm looking at you. As a viewer watching this, they don't feel like I'm talking to them. This way, they feel like I'm talking to them. I don't have to look at you to have a conversation. I have the headphones on, or earbuds or what have you. Again, this is all about the viewer. As you and I talked beforehand, it's not about me. It's not about you, not about the guest or the host. It's about the viewer's perception of what's going on.
Yeah.
If you are talking to the viewer, they like you more psychologically. If you're not, they're completely out of the conversation.
Yeah.
Again, psychologically, and I'm throwing out these little tidbits there. I wear headphones when I do this. Some people like the little earbuds, which is fine. Whatever it is, some people use microphone or speakers on their desk. I don't like the speaker thing because I'm so afraid of feedback on my end. I just try to eliminate that altogether. I know some people, especially the ladies, don't like to wear headphones like this because they don't want to mess up their hair, which I get it. No one wants to look at me. So I don't care if I look goofy or not. They're not looking at me for my beauty. That's for certain. They're not
Oh,
coming to me for my
Andrea, of course
beauty.
we are.
I would strongly suggest getting some sort of headphones or at least get the earbuds.
Yeah.
That's my personal thing. And if you have headphones, don't get it. It's probably better to have it wired than not. It's just my personal preference as well. There's too much things can go on if it's not wired. Microphones. This is a huge pet peeve of mine. If you are wanting to promote your business, it doesn't take much to buy a microphone. And I have this microphone. I also have this one, which I got for $20, which is a fantastic microphone. Do not, I don't want to say do not. It maybe because I also do some voiceover work and I'm more keen to it in my ear. But when I'm hearing somebody who is just using their microphone on their laptop, microphone on their cell phone, it's a big difference between that and the acoustics on a microphone like this. And it doesn't take much. There are microphones out there that are $400 or $500. If you got the money to spend it, go for it, but you don't need it.
No.
But you should have some sort of microphone. It just sounds more pleasant. I always tell people this way. If you're in a car listening to a radio station, whether it's music or talk or what have you, and it starts sounding staticky, what do?
Change the channel.
Change the channel. Right. Because, again, I do voiceover work, so I'm more in tune with this. And it's not a bragging thing. It's just part of the business. I can tell if somebody's not using a microphone or using their laptop, and it bugs me. That's just me. Again, that's just me because I'm keen to it now. And I'm thinking the quality of a microphone is so much better than the quality of a cell phone or laptop. Now, people will argue with me all day long that their iPhone S20 or whatever brand is nowadays is fantastic. Okay, great. I'm not going to tell you to do it or not do it. I'm just telling you what a listener like myself is keen to.
Yeah, and it helps the guests because then if they've never done it before, they can say, okay, do I have to get a mic? No, you don't have to buy this big equipment, but you can go to Best Buy or Amazon and get the little mics that you need for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're to go. And yeah, they're not a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew, it's just whatever they feel comfortable with.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It's whatever you feel comfortable with.
yeah.
Absolutely. It's whatever you feel comfortable with. I talked about light, talked about headphones, sound, talked about where to look. Okay. Background. And this is something that I'm sure I see it all the time as well. People don't realize what's in their background. I've seen people with dirty laundry baskets in their background. They didn't realize it was there. It's just, how do you not know that? It just bugs me. How do you not know that? If you have a dedicated place to do it, like I have my little dedicated little studio. Again, it's not a bragging thing. It's trial and error over after all these years. I've done them before where my laptop is in front of me, point up my face, and I didn't realize I had my, not a chandelier, but a light hanging down in my dining room right above my head. It looked like I had a halo going on, which was cool, but it was not very professional because all of a sudden the light was shining and all my bald head, it didn't help much either, which is another thing. If you got a bald head, be keen of the lights shining on there. I noticed someone the other day, I forgot what it was. It was somebody, it was a professional setting as well, but the lights were shining and it looked like the guy had two horns coming out of his head because the lights were shining on his head.
Yeah.
And it was a professional setting. So I'm thinking to myself, how is somebody not telling him this? Or how are they not adjusting the lights? Because it looks very bad if you're into that kind of thing. So those are the things to do during the interview, preparing for the interview and during the interview. Another behind the scenes thing I would always recommend, and this is a more of a comfortable thing, brush your teeth before you go on air. You'd be shocked at how different you will perceive yourself to be as a guest if you feel the teeth are clean versus not.
Yeah.
If they're not, you're not going to realize it. But if they're clean, oh, wow, I feel more up, and you can arch your back a little bit. You're more standing up and more focused on, okay, I can tackle this. Just a quick brush of the teeth, you're going to feel that. Believe me, you're going to feel that when you start doing that. When it's all said and done afterwards, stay on the line after the host signs off. It's the weirdest thing as a host if you say your goodbyes and stop the recording and the guest disappears. Have you had that happen to you yet?
No, I haven't actually, Andrew. I haven't.
It is the weirdest thing. You say
No,
goodbye.
I've not had one leave. No,
You don't know what to do. Oh, what happened? You
yeah,
don't know if they left.
it's not to say I won't encounter it.
It's the weirdest thing if it happens. Believe me, you don't want that happening. So as a guest, stay on the line until the recording stops and there's a formal goodbye between the two parties.
Yeah.
And that way you can also, if there was something said throughout the podcast or the video, and if it's a recording, kindly ask the host to say, you know what? I wasn't comfortable. I shouldn't have said something like that.
Yeah.
I had a guest once who talked about alcohol and how their neighbors perceive them, and she got off on a tangent with the neighbors a little bit, which that's her prerogative to do. I wasn't going to stop her from doing anything.
Yeah.
Afterwards, after she listened to it, she actually called me up and I say, you know, I'm not comfortable with that. Can that be taken out? Absolutely.
Yeah.
You as a host, me as a host, if a guest doesn't want something, I'm cutting it completely. I am not going to argue with them. Hey, it sounded great. No, if they don't want it, they don't want it.
Yeah.
You know, why make them uncomfortable? If it's something that's said or you say to the host, it's not a disrespect to the host if you say, you know what, I didn't like this part. Can we cut it out?
Yeah.
All right, no problem. You being a host, you know this as well as I do.
I do.
You're not going to tell somebody, oh, that was great, leave it in. No, if they want it out, take it out. It's just that simple. And have the courtesy to tell the host that you were uncomfortable with it.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Once the host is done and they have the show all wrapped up and they send you links for the show, this is after, of course, promote it. Promote as much as you can with the host's permission. Say, hey, I got a Facebook group with a gazillion people. Do you mind if I promote it there? Heck yeah. But at least have the courtesy of asking for the permission, because maybe they only want it to a certain audience. You don't know. Even though it's your stuff, don't assume the host wants everything done your way, because they don't. Most of the time, it's going to be a mutual thing. Yeah, I want to get out as many places as I can. but you might run into that one time where I would prefer my boss didn't see it, so don't post it on this page or something like that. So just have the courtesy of that. And also send a thank you. It's just that's just courtesy. Hey, thanks for letting me come on your show. I appreciate it. And hopefully they're going to want you to come back. And I'm thanking Teresa very much so for letting me come back on this one as well. She's a
Yeah.
wonderful host,
Oh,
and I can only assume that we have a good time when I'm on here.
I
So
do.
I can go on and on. I have 3 or 4 pages full of notes, but those are just some of the
Oh, they're good.
highlights and lowlights, if you will, that I've run into. Is there anything that I said that's questionable,
Oh,
or you
no.
say
Oh,
it'll
gosh,
go
no,
expand
Andrew.
more a little
No,
bit?
no, absolutely not. So as I was listening to what you said. You're
Hmm.
absolutely correct. And I do think as guests come on, they have to feel comfortable. So
Absolutely.
I would say for the guests themselves, you do what you feel comfortable with.
Oh
Andrew,
yes.
they are great tips and they are wonderful tips for the viewers to follow as a guest. I don't, I feel if you don't want to get extra equipment, that's certainly up to the guest.
Oh,
But,
absolutely. Yeah.
but these are hints that are going to just amplify your guest's appearance and going
Hmm.
to help with that. So Andrew's trying to make sure, don't feel like if you don't want to do any of this, that's fine. But they're good ideas to help as you go along and you're a guest on the show. And for any hosts out there that maybe hadn't thought of these things, because we all do our podcasts or our shows the way we see them from our
Exactly.
perspective,
Yep.
and the
Yep.
guest sees it from their perspective, and a viewer sees it from their perspective. So it's just helping all three come together with a common ground.
Hmm.
No, Andrew, they're excellent tips. Absolutely. I think that was well done, laid out. And I know you've been doing podcasting for a long time. So I respect that you have the knowledge and the understanding of your guests and your podcast, your equipment. When I started, Andrew, my first video, poor Heather, she was on with me, and I said, I don't know however this works. And it was awful. But you know what? The viewers were wonderful and they knew it was my first show. I actually said it was my first show. So you know what? We evolve and we come along, and I laugh now. I don't care.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I encourage people, if you want to start a podcast, go for it. What the heck? Have some fun, because
Oh
it is a
man. Yeah.
lot of fun.
Podcasting is great. You meet some great people if you have guests, or if you do a solo show, which I do a live stream a solo show. I just have fun with it. People might
Yeah,
call in, or people will write you questions, or depends on your topic, and just have fun with it. It's your show. Do it how you want to do it. The,
exactly.
the tips I gave are it's not a have to for anybody. It's not a deal maker.
No, I get that.
There are people out there making a gazillion dollars with the light shining behind them with a
Yeah.
cheap old microphone or nothing, talking into an old Walkman. There's people making
Yeah, that's
gazillion
right.
dollars doing that.
I've
So,
had people come on with their phones, Andrew, and I get this
oh, so
screen
am
that's small on one side and large on another. Because honestly, I'm not a tech person. So if you come on you with your phone, you're going to
hmm
get this little line, and I'm going to be here. And I tell them right up front, "Are you okay with that?" And they're like, "Yep," because I
hmm
can't. That's the one thing I haven't learned how to edit yet. How to change it from a phone to the. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but
Oh
you
yeah.
get that sort of smaller screen to a larger screen, and I'll figure it out, but I prefer
hmm
them come on with their computer. It just makes it easier all the way around
Oh,
for
absolutely.
all of that.
And let me throw this out there, a guest. If you are not comfortable talking into a microphone, then don't talk into a
Oh,
microphone. If
yeah,
you are uncomfortable getting a decent quality camera, then don't get it.
yeah,
The best microphone, the best camera, the best equipment that you will have is what you have right
exactly,
now. If you want
exactly.
to improve it, great. If you feel it needs to be improved, if you don't feel like it needs to be improved, then don't. The
Yeah,
whole thing about being a guest is to be as comfortable with your setting and your surrounding as you possibly can, because ultimately the people are looking at you for what you do.
that's right.
The tips that I'm giving here are more of a psychological thing to make sure the focus stays more on you, if that makes sense.
It does,
Okay.
absolutely. We want the
Okay.
guests to feel comfortable and understand the environment, what they're
Mm-hmm.
going into, and they don't know, or they do know.
Mm-hmm.
Some guests know more than me, and they actually give me tips. Heck, I'm all for it. As you're giving me tips, I didn't know some of that,
Mm-hmm.
some of the information you gave today. No, I appreciate it, and I'm sure that the viewers appreciate it because we don't know. You get
Hmm.
these nice tips that you can follow. And as you said, use them or not use them, entirely up to you. But
Right.
no, I'm grateful that you came on today. So talk to
Appreciate
us
that.
about how is Top Fitness going? How's that going for you?
Top Fitness Strategies is going great. I'm having more guests on there. Most of my shows, if you will, it's a video podcast more than anything else, is anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes of how I do it.
Oh,
And
okay,
when I have a guest, it's anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes, depends on the guest.
sure.
And of course, I want to bring out everything that they have to offer and what they have to say. And it's going really well. It's picking up little by little. I'm all about the fitness over 50, just to let you everybody know.
That's
Live
me.
better, live better, or excuse me, look better, feel better, gain some confidence. Just something that's going to make you healthier and fitter tomorrow than you were today. I'm not here to tell you that you need to be on stage showing off your body somewhere. Not everybody wants to do that. Do we all want the six pack abs? Oh, yeah. Are we all going to work to get it? No. So let's just better ourselves to the next level.
Yeah.
That's what I'm all about. Just giving some basic common sense tips that probably others don't describe it or talk to about like I do. Again, I'm no big deal. Just after all these years of doing it, it's okay. Let me throw back and give it back to the community. That's all I want to do.
Andrew, thank you. So we're glad to have you back today. So
Anytime.
yeah, so from there, I'm going to have all your information up here so that everyone, you certainly can look up Andrew, and whether it be the fitness side or you want some more tips from him. Now, you mentioned I know you have your podcast already. Do you have another link for your new project?
Yeah, it's the gentleman I was telling you about who put together this whole project. And it's if you go to andrewpoletto.com/podcast guest,
Okay.
you'll find it. And I'll give you the link, so it's not a
Yeah,
problem there. You'll have the link.
I'll
And
make
then topfitnessstrategies.com is my other one, which I'll give you the links for that as well.
Perfect. So we'll have everything up here from Andrew, so you'll be able to run over there and take a look. And well done, Andrew. I commend you for branching out and doing some other things. I always tell
Thank
viewers,
you.
honestly, my viewers, you want to do something, just try it. Let's go. Let's see what we got.
Absolutely.
Let's run with it. And you're doing a fine job. So good job, Andrew.
And let
Thank
me
you.
throw this out there as well. If anybody wants to talk or come on my live stream show, it's not fitness related, it's just anything else related. So
Oh, good.
just
I like
contact me. I'll hook you up and we can go that route. Or if we want to talk more in depth about what I said today, Teresa knows how to get in touch with me. Not a problem.
Yeah, perfect. And you can get Andrew direct. I always give them two options, direct to the guest or to
Hmm.
me. Either way will get you
Absolutely.
back there. Good
Fantastic.
job. Thank you, Andrew, for
Thank you for
joining
having
us
me.
today. So to everyone else, this is Teresa Aker from Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. I hope you're having a great day. Please subscribe to my and to Andrew's channels and links. We appreciate it. Have a great day. I look forward to talking to you all very soon. Bye-bye.